watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this election day for WYLN News. I'm Julia Wiegand. Voters were heading out to the polls today to cast their ballots for Pennsylvania's primary election. However, many throughout Luzerne County were met with a glitch in the system. A typo appeared on Republican ballots, causing the header to display Democrat on the viewing screens. The director of Luzerne County Elections said the error occurred during vendor programming of the devices. Business went on as usual throughout polling places across the county.
Problem with the Republican ballot and the Democratic ballot all say Democrat. You put the code in, you get the right ballot comes up, but the headers are wrong. But they are definitely casting Republican votes. So the machines are working that it's supposed to. It's just one of the headers was wrong. That's all.
The mistake only appeared on the screens, and ballots were printed correctly with Republican primary race results.
They have nothing to worry about. If you are still casting a Republican ballot, you're getting your Republican candidates that come up on the screen to do the vote, and it's still working. It's just like I said, that one little glitch of the header.
The Bureau of Elections assures that all ballots will be counted correctly. In other election news, our Philip Kaufman spoke with a candidate this morning right on Broad Street who just entered an election of his own.
We're here at Hazleton Fire Department's Southside Station, where a multitude of voters have come to cast their ballots for their local officials. One particular voter was in today, Lou Barletta, who once represented Hazleton both as a city council member and as its mayor. So after he cast his ballot, we spoke with Lou and discussed the importance of voting and his newly announced campaign for governor.
So exciting, especially to start my day at the polls, where that's how it will end at the polls for me a year and a half from now. So it's exciting to start this way.
The importance of local elections can never be emphasized enough. The individuals elected to these offices hold the power to make major decisions that affect you directly. And who knows, that city council member could end up running for governor one day.
As someone who started their political career on city council, I don't think there's any elections that could be more important than these elections here, because it directly affects your hometown, whether it's city council or mayor. So I really hope there's a good turnout for these elections, because we can make a change, and this is where it starts. And sometimes that city council man or woman ends up being governor, for example. So a lot of political careers start at the local level, and the people at home who know them best, get to make that choice.
We also spoke on issues that were on the ballot today, including the ballot questions relating to disaster emergency declarations.
Watching how Governor Wolf crushed our small businesses, being a small businessman myself, and I've seen so many here in Hazleton that we watched these businesses start up, and literally he was picking and choosing winners and losers and who could open and who could close. You could shop at Walmart or Lowe's, but you couldn't shop at the local bike shop. It made no sense at all. And then watching the deaths in Pennsylvania, the COVID deaths, and the governor's decision to put COVID positive patients back into the nursing home. And then finally, watching our children be denied a year of their education. It just was wrong. It was wrong what was happening, and I just couldn't sit back. I'm not one to do nothing and complain, so I decided to throw my hat in the ring and try to change it.
Reporting from the Hazleton Fire Department's Southside Station with WYLN News, I'm Philip Kaufman.
Thank you, Phil. Next up, we head to Butler Township and the borough of West Hazleton, where our Julie Stefanovich spoke with several candidates.
Pennsylvania's primary was in full swing today as voters cast their ballots for races that included council and school board seats as well as judicial. State Representative Tara Toohill, who was running for Luzerne County Court of Common Pleas judge, was on hand this morning in Butler Township. She said that campaigning through the pandemic has proven different than in previous election years.
Obviously, there were not a lot of events to go to. It's hard to see people in person. If you go to their door, you would knock on the door and stand back really far. So it was definitely different than in other years. It's harder to get your message out. We used a lot of Facebook messaging, which is still harder to reach the senior population.
Toohill said that her decision to run for the bench stems from her longtime advocacy and involvement with children and family matters.
Both of the judge positions are going to go to family court, and that's my passion and my love. I've written the adoption code. I've changed the divorce code to be better for children and less traumatic on children during divorces. So everything I do is really for families, and being county court judge in the Court of Common Pleas will allow me to focus on families every single day.
Over in West Hazleton, we spoke with incumbent Borough Council candidates Bill Sharkey and Jerry Grink.
I enjoy what I'm doing, and at the end of the day, people want to see results, and the 16 years I've been here, they've seen that. The police are on the streets. We went from having no police coverage to 24-hour protection. Potholes are fixed. We have a fire department, up-to-date street department. Our equipment is second to none, and we've done this and kept their line on taxes, and that's what people want. People want to see results. They want to see services, and they see that.
Grink has been on council for 6 years and is hoping for another term to serve the residents of West Hazleton.
The council, in the past 6 years I've been with them, has improved the borough tremendously, secured a lot of grants, a lot of money, paved streets, purchased needed equipment for the street department. We have a great town here, and I'm hoping that at the end of the day, the people come out and vote the incumbents back in, and I hope we can continue on in our progress for the future.
The pandemic didn't hinder the turnout of poll workers in the borough.
We have the same crew that we've pretty much been using for the last quite a few years, and they're very dedicated, and they show up, and everybody works together, and we haven't had that problem here. We've had all of our workers show up and come and do their civic duty.
Reporting for Wyln News, I'm Julie Stefanovich.
Thank you, Julie. And now we make the hop over to Columbia County, where Berwick was also busy at the polls on this bright and sunny Election Day morning. Though the rush seemed to be off and on at Bethany Blessings, voters were still happy to be out casting their ballots.
I think they've been pretty good here. I just hope people come out to vote. Hope my friend Tim Burke for mayor and Tim Chamberlain for sheriff of Columbia County. Trying to help them both. They're good people.
Current Columbia County Sheriff Timothy Chamberlain's running unopposed for the Democratic nomination, as is Christy Ropendowski for the Republican nomination. In the mayor's race, incumbent Mayor Tim Burke's running as a Republican and will be up against Perry Tex Knaus. Nobody was listed on the primary Democratic ballot.
Tim helps a lot of people and kids, and he's just a nice man.
4 seats are up for election on Borough Council. Republicans Robert Lewis, Tom Macia, Nelson Learn, and Andrew Schechter are looking for Republican nominations, while Teresa Troiani sought a nomination as the sole Democrat. Incumbent Jerry Alley is not running for re-election. And finally, 6 people are seeking both the Democratic and Republican nominations for 4-year terms, as 5 seats will be up for grabs on the Berwick Area School Board. Incumbents John Morrell, Brenda Post, and Keith Hess will be running for re-election, up against Krista Cucorlo, Jeffrey Taylor, and Dennis Evenson. As for the 2-year term on the board, Joe Nespoli ran unopposed. Incumbents Joseph DeMelfi and Marianne Kovaleski will be stepping down. Numerous children had to be medically evaluated following a school bus crash this morning in Plains Township. The bus they were riding on crashed head-on into a tractor-trailer along Route 315 shortly before 8 a.m. Both drivers were taken to an area hospital for treatment. Fortunately, none of the children were seriously injured, but some were checked out by EMTs on scene as a precautionary measure. Route 315 remained closed to traffic for most of the afternoon. 3 nurses were injured while trying to treat a man who was brought into Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton, by police. 21-year-old Andrel Metz Cabrera was arrested Monday morning for allegedly robbing the C&P store on East Chestnut Street in Hazleton back in January of last year. When he was brought to the hospital for a mental health evaluation, he allegedly kicked a nurse, injured another's hand, and bit a third. He's been charged with aggravated assault, simple assault, and harassment for the hospital incident. And for the robbery, he faces charges of theft, simple assault, and reckless endangerment. He was taken to prison for lack of $250,000 bail. Coming up on Wyln News, our Wyln sports crew is taking it to Freeland tomorrow night. Plus, the story behind 2 female 2021 Hazleton Sports Hall of Fame inductees. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Melania, and 3 years old, and today is going to be sunny out.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online. SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
Hey guys, this is Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazleton, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. You want a great deal? You're looking for a great truck? You want a great selection? Come check us out. We've got trucks, whether you want a Warlock, a Rebel, whatever trim level you want, we've got them. We've got a plethora of Ram vehicles. We've got a plethora of Jeep vehicles. Why am I using that word? How else do you describe all this inventory? Here's the big close. Don't forget, Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazleton has the lowest price guaranteed.
Our Wyln sports crew is proud to present you live local Little League baseball. Buy those peanuts and Cracker Jacks for our live game of the week tomorrow, May 19th, as Freeland American Legion takes on Freeland Fire Company. Tune in tomorrow night at 6 for all the live local action right here on Wyln TV, your home for live local sports. The game will also rebroadcast on Saturday at noon. Wyln's all-time OTC hero Marty Burns has the in-depth analysis of what's happening on and off-season across our viewing area. Joe Clark's on this week to represent the 2021 Hazleton Sports Hall of Fame. So, let's talk sports. Here's part 2.
Let's start with the coach, Margaret Brown.
Margaret Brown. You're probably too young to remember the onset of Title IX. But in this area, you had Jane Dunn at Hazleton. You had Ann Johnson and Nancy Snyder at West Hazleton, Nancy Snyder-DeMera, and Dr. Deb Carr in Freeland. Margaret Brown was the Weatherly individual who pushed the female sports at that point. She coached softball for many, many years. Not only she coached there, but even now she's still active in the women's golf leagues around the area. She's organized those and ran them for many, many years. So she is really, I don't like to use the word pioneer, but she was one of that group of outstanding female leaders who really pushed the female sports in the greater Hazleton area. Well deserving. She's been on the ballot for a while, and finally we were able to get her the votes to get her in.
And we move to one of the female athletes, and we'll start with Rachel Ritz.
Rachel Ritz, it's something about the genes. Again, you're too young to remember the old West Hazleton, Delaware wing T, gassy horn, always had a scat back. Well, Rachel's dad was one of those scat backs, Mark Ritz, so it's in the genes. Rachel still has some records. Her sophomore year, she ran for Hazleton High School. Her junior and senior year ran for Hazleton Area High School. She still holds some records for Hazleton area, and she was a sprinter, obviously, and with that genes. And she went on to LaSalle, full athletic scholarship at LaSalle, and she is on the LaSalle Wall of Fame as one of their outstanding athletes in the history of the college.
Coming up on Briar Creek's News Choice, we're talking motorcycles on this Trooper Talk Tuesday, plus leading the way into part 2 with Mary Malone. Stay with us.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
Hi folks, welcome to Let's Talk Chiropractic. I'm Dr. John, this is Ismania, Dr. Alex. Tune into the show this week. Ismania could not get pregnant because she had to lose 300 pounds. Through gastric bypass surgery she did, and miracles happened, so tune in.
Penn State Hazleton is improving the lives of others, starting in our community.
Providing degrees that meet the needs of the area.
Fueling entrepreneurship and contributing more than $36 million annually to the state's economy.
Researching the health of our local ecosystem on the Susquehanna River.
Together, our impact keeps growing, backed by the strength of 24 campuses and 700,000 alumni.
Wyln Sports presents Little League Baseball. Watch the game of the week on Wyln TV 35, your home for live local sports.
Hello folks, and welcome to Trooper Talk Tuesday here on WYLN. We are joined, as always, by Trooper Anthony Petrosky. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
All right, so today we are talking about motorcycle safety. I know that a lot of people are fans of motorcycles around here, me included. And when we're getting out there, you know, the sun's out, we're hitting into spring, going into summer. A lot of people are going to be out on their motorcycles again. So, folks, we just want to give you some safety tips, things to be aware of, whether you are a motorcycle rider or whether you're a driver on the road where you see a motorcycle. So why don't we start off addressing motorcycle riders, some safety tips for them going out on the road and what they need to be aware of.
Yeah, so first off, motorcycle riders, you always want to do like a pre-inspection checklist. You know, make sure your bike is good before you get out on the road. Check the tire pressure, check the oil, make sure you have enough fuel, things of that nature to make sure that your bike is safe and ready for the road trip. Second, when you're out on the road, if you are under the 21 years of age, you are required by law to wear a helmet as a motorcycle rider. Now, all occupants and drivers of motorcycles are required by PA law to wear some sort of eye protection device. This way, in case something gets in their eye, they won't be able to see or control the bike. So wear something to protect your eyes, and that's for your safety, and also includes passengers. There's some things to be aware of as a motorcycle rider. You know, for a normal car or truck driver, gravel on the road, wet roads, potholes, not a huge concern. For a motorcycle rider, it's a major concern, and it could be a huge hazard. So be aware of the road. Pay attention. We should have our eyes on the road at all time. Watch the road. Watch out for those potholes, gravel. Keep an eye out for signs. Maybe it says rough road ahead, things of that nature, and slow it down. Another thing that we need to be aware of is there can be no more than 2 riders riding abreast in one lane. I know we get that question a lot. It's no more than 2 riders. And in Pennsylvania, there is no lane splitting, meaning you cannot drive up between 2 cars. Totally illegal if you're seen doing that, you'll be stopped, you'll be cited.
And as for car drivers or truck drivers, anybody out on the road who's not on a motorcycle, just some tips to be aware of. I mean, you had kind of gone over it. A lot of times you see those motorcycles that drive in between and everything, or you just have motorcycles in another lane and people kind of don't know how to handle that situation. Could you talk a little bit about how people not on a motorcycle have to be aware on the road?
Yeah, so they should be treated just like a car, okay? But a lot of times it could be more difficult to see a motorcycle in your rearview mirror. They might be caught in your blind spot completely. So checking your lanes and using your turn signals are very important all the time, but especially in the summer months, because this way, even if you don't see that motorcycle, if you put your turn signal on, they may see you and slow down. But you have to double and triple check before you make those lane changes in case there's a motorcycle. We have to be aware of them. They're out there now, the weather's going to be getting nicer, they're going to be out on the roads, and we have to make sure that we see them.
And motorcycle safety, is it a specific time right now for motorcycle safety to be aware? Is there anything going on to kind of address that if anybody's kind of wondering for more information about motorcycle safety?
I think May is Motorcycle Safety Month. It's usually the start of the summer and, warmer weather, so more bikes are out there on the road. And you know what? We have to be aware of them. Like I said, they could be more difficult to see. So we really have to pay attention, eyes on the road, double check, triple check those blind spots, make sure you see, use your turn signals, and be aware that as of now until the end of the summer, the motorcycles are going to be out there.
And you guys have some motorcycles as well.
We do.
Yeah.
We have motorcycles. We have troopers that ride the motorcycles full time. They're a great asset. They're great for enforcement. And sometimes when you have bad crashes and traffic is backed up and our cars can't get through because of the traffic, a motorcycle rider can maneuver through and get up there and render aid and assist any way they can.
All right. All right, folks, if you're going to be out there on a motorcycle, please be aware of the conditions, the road conditions especially. Make sure that your motorcycle's all prepared. I know a lot of times people it sits in your garage through the winter, so you want to make sure it's all checked out and ready to go for the spring and summer months. And if you're a driver out there, just be aware. Remember to use those turning signals. Remember to you should be using them all the time, but especially now, just be aware of the people who are out there on the road alongside you. Thank you so much for talking with us.
My pleasure.
And thank you, folks, for joining us here on Trooper Talk Tuesday on WYLN.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
At Grand Central, our family has been supplying your family with quality brand name furniture, mattresses, and appliances for over 3 generations. Whether you choose from our excellent selection of Lazy Boy, Catnapper, or England furniture, or from our fantastic selection of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we guarantee total comfort in every room of your home.
With expert advice, everyday low prices, plus interest-free financing for up to 60 months.
From our family to your family.
Grand Central in Hazleton. Everything to make your house a home.
Go hog wild for Iron Pigs baseball. WYLN is televising the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs live. America's favorite pastime on your local network, WYLN TV 35. See the Stars of Tomorrow at Coca-Cola Park. Don't miss any of the games here on WYLN TV 35. Visit WYLNTV.com for a complete Iron Pigs schedule. Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs on WYLN, your home for live sports. WYLN CA 35's children's programming is designed with the specific purpose of serving the educational and informational needs of children. In compliance with FCC guidelines, a copy of the Children's Programming Report is on file for public inspection at WYLN 1057 East 10th Street in Hazleton, Pennsylvania during normal business hours. To view the report online, visit fcc.org.
WYLN's going behind the scenes to learn more about the lives and goals of our local leaders. So, Mary Malone's leading the way into part 2 of this week's series. And welcome back to this week's Leading the Way with Hazleton Chamber President Mary Malone. Now, Mary, when did you know that you'd be doing what you do today, and what led you to pursue that interest?
So I've been the Chamber President since 2014, but previously in my career, I was actually the head of the United Way of Greater Hazleton from 1999 till 2005. And when I was in that role, I always used to joke and say, with Donna Palermo, who was the president at the time, who I followed, that United Way was the social service chamber of commerce, and we used to cross paths and work together a lot. So who knew that fast forward 9 years that I would apply for the job, and that's what attracted me to it. Because the chamber, yes, it focuses on businesses, large and small, and all different diverse business types, but it's also central to the community as a whole. And every aspect of my job, since I graduated with my undergrad degree in 1987, has always had people and community somewhere tied into it and the heart of it. So it has been the culmination of a journey of that to get to be the chamber. I can use my business background and expertise, as well as my desire to be involved and serve the fantastic community that we have here in the greater Hazleton area.
What was it like when you were taking the steps towards from just starting out in the chamber to running the show?
It's really what a wide arc in the 7 years that I've been the chamber president, including still clawing our way out of the pandemic and all of the flexibility and the impacts on businesses. So I would say that being willing to work as part of a team with other entities has been key. And in 7 years, our community and our business community has continued to change. Some more of a focus on entrepreneurial and smaller businesses, which no more or not as much bricks and mortar, and the move to more online and e-commerce and those type of things. But we have had the growth in the business in manufacturing, transportation, and warehouse, and living at the crossroads of 80 and 81. So every day for 7 years has been very different. I think that was in hyper mode for 2020 and this first part of 2021.
All right. Well, everyone, check back tomorrow night as Mary continues leading the way into part 3 of this week's series. Good night. And that's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page or WYLNTV.com. You can also find LVHN's real facts about COVID-19. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next right here on WYLN TV.